Hi, I'm Rebecca, and welcome to my sewing room. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and welcome for the first time if you are here for the first time. And thank you for watching. Today, I'll be making a dress. I will be using this dressmaking book that I found at Joann's a while back. This will be the second dress that I've decided to make from this book, but it will be a bit different from the last dress that I made. I went to Salvation Army, I don't know, a few weeks ago here in town, and I found some fabric while I was there, and the fabric that I'm using today is this Butterflies and Flowers, white and peach. It is a cotton muslin twin size bed sheet. So I'm hoping that I have enough for every part of this dress. However, this is quite a thin fabric. You couldn't really see it that well on camera. Let me see if I can get it better here. Yeah, you can't really tell, but I can see my hand through the fabric. So I also got this lightweight cotton while I was at Walmart. It has a little bit of a stretch to it, but not too bad. So I'm going to use that to fully line this dress. I got cotton because I really like working with cotton, and I really like wearing just a basic cotton dress. This cotton muslin is quite lightweight, so I think lining it with this other cotton really won't add too much weight to it. The differences that I'm making for this dress this time, my bodice, so before my bodice was a V-neck, this time I made a sweetheart neckline bodice pattern. I already have my patterns almost all done except for the sleeve, but I have to make sure I have enough fabric for the sleeves before I decided to make the pattern piece. So I have a sweetheart neckline, and I'm going to do a circle skirt this time. I'm also going to add a waistband because the way I had my dress the last time where it was gathered, it was really, really thick at the waist, which I didn't mind too much because it is the thinnest part. Didn't make it too tight or anything like that. Even though I had trimmed that seam allowance, there was still a lot there. So I wanted to add a waistband this time and see if that takes down the bulk at all. It will be a bit less bulky because this is a lighter weight cotton than what I used last time, and the skirt will not be gathered, so it'll take that bulkiness out of it already. But I wanted to have the waistline, have a waistband. Anyways, since I have to cut off the top of this bed sheet anyways, I'm actually going to unpick it and use this as the waistband, and then do a backing waistband of white, or the facing waistband of white. I already have my neck facings cut out as well. This is the front facing of my sweetheart neckline. What else am I doing? I'm doing a circle skirt, but I think I mentioned that. There's a mathematical way to figure out the pattern for your circle skirt, and I'm not actually making a pattern piece. I'm just going to fold the fabric and draw it onto the fabric because the circle skirt's pretty easy to do. So that's how I'm going to do that. Oh, and I am planning, as long as I have enough of the sheet, I would like to do a capped sleeve is my plan. So if I have enough, I do still have to make that pattern piece, and I've never done a capped sleeve before, so I'm looking forward to trying that skill, and I think it'll actually make this dress like have a really nice overall look, and I won't absolutely have to wear a sweater because I don't love showing off my upper arms. Other than that, I think that's it. So I am going to go off camera and pick out the top of the sheet and cut that off and start getting my pattern pieces pinned and cut out It's going to take me a little bit longer because I'm basically making 2 dresses because I have to do 2 layers for the lining, cotton, and the sheet. So I will do that, and I will be back once I have my pattern pieces cut out, and by then I will know if I'm doing a sleeve or if I have to cut out facings for armholes. Yes, it is the same day. It is a chilly, rainy, dreary day outside today. Even though it's July, we're getting like 2 months of rainfall in 24 hours. So it has dropped probably 10 to 15 degrees, and I'm cold. So, same day, different shirt. I have just finished, thank goodness, it took me forever, cutting out both the lining and the dress pieces. I added a waistband. I was able to make sleeves, so I kind of estimated, we'll see how that works. I kind of estimated on the drawing of my sleeve. I had a basic sleeve outline, but I wanted to be able to gather it a little bit, so I added like 5 centimeters to my basic sleeve outline, and we'll see if it works. I also cut out pockets because I want this dress to have pockets. They're just big rectangle pieces that I'm only gonna have to sew on like 2.5 sides because the open, there's a fold on both of the pockets. What else? I have all my facings cut, all of my markings. Everything's ready to go. So the first thing that I need to do is attach my lining to my dress pieces, and I'm going to stitch right like probably 1/4 inch from the outside of the fabric all the way around so that those are attached. So it's like, at least on the bodice, so it's like I am just sewing one piece. I think I will also attach my skirt pieces in the same way, but just, no, I won't do that yet. I will sew those side seams and the pockets in there before I do the waist, put the waistband or the waist of the skirt together when I attach the waistband. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew the dress and the lining of the bodice front and back together, and then I'll be back. Okay, now that I have all of my bodice, dress, and lining pieces sewed together right along the edge, about 1/4 inch in all around, my next step is to put in the darts, which, there we go, you can see this is just one of the back pieces. I have all of the darts labeled on my back and my front bodice pieces. Since I'm doing a circle skirt, I do not have the darts in the skirt, so I don't have to do that. So I will do my darts, sew my darts, and then I will press those, and I will be back for the next step. Okay, so I have all of the darts sewn in, both the back pieces and then the front, which has 4 darts. Here, whoops, if I can hold on to it right. Shoulder darts up here, waist darts there. I am legitimately loving the way this is looking already when I really don't have all that much done with it, but I think it will be very, very cute overall once it's done. Okay, so my next step here is to sew the shoulder seams and install the neck facing. So I'm going to do both of those things, and then I'll be back to show you the next step, well, to show you where I'm at from there, and then the following step after that. Okay. So here is my bodice. I'm gonna have to tack the facings down on the inside just to make sure that they stay, but they are in there quite nicely, in fact. Here. That. I did understitch it as the directions in the book say. You can hardly even see it. Look at that. There's some stitches you can see over here. I understitched the whole thing before I pressed it, so there's that. So then the next step is to insert the sleeves. So with that, I need to gather the top of my sleeve here from notch to notch, and then fit that into the armhole with my gathering stitches. I need to ease all of that in, and then I'll stitch that and stitch the underarm seam. And I think, let me double check. Yes, I stitched the underarm seam, and then I'll be done with the sleeves. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. All right, I have my sleeves on. My side seams are sewn. So up until attaching it to the skirt, which is not made yet, and hand tacking the facings to the seams and the lining so that it stays down nice and flat, and obviously the zipper, the bodice is complete. It was a bit tedious, but that's okay, because I will take the tedium because I have a really nice finished product so far. So I'm quite proud of it. Now, according to my book, my next overall thing is the skirt to put together, obviously. However, I still have to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. Because I'm adding pockets, and I'm adding a waistband. So I know I have to add the pockets first as I'm doing the side seams. And then I will add the waistband to the skirt and connect all of that to the bodice, along with my waistband facing. I have some thinking to do. I have to figure out how I'm going to do it, and how that's all going to work. And I will be back periodically as I'm working through it. Okay, I have one side of the skirt pinned with the pocket in. I measured about 6 inches down from the waistband for the top of the pocket, and then the opening will be 6 inches as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that side seam under stitch, so the pocket, like sew around the pocket, all that good stuff. And I'll be back. Okay, so this is the second day of sewing. Last night I did both side seams and installed the pockets, and then I realized that I did it completely wrong. Both of them completely wrong. And so I unpicked that, and then I just set everything here on my sewing table and walked away. So I still have to install the pockets correctly this time, and put on the waistband. So as I said, before, I will periodically come back as I go step by step of putting the skirt and then the entire dress together. All right, let's get going. Well, since my last step was to install the pockets, which there's one, there's the other. They are very, very big pockets. At least they look like it. They're big enough to put my keys and my phone in, so that's nice. So since the last step was installing the pockets, that means that my skirt is basically done, except for the back seam, which I have to install the zipper. So I have to wait until this is attached to the bodice. So this here, obviously you can't see the whole thing, but this is the skirt. It's a nice circle skirt, so it's got a good swing. So I'm not worried at all about the fit. It looks like it's going to fit great. So the next step now is to connect my bodice to my skirt, but I have a waistband, so I have to do this in increments. So I have to connect my waistband, here it is here, my waistband and the lining of my waistband. I've got them here just folded. I've used the top of the sheet where there's that edging at the top all the time. That will be the waistband, but then I used that as a template to iron the edges of the edges of the facing of the waistband. So I still have to cut, obviously I still have to cut the waistband down to the correct size before I get going, but I will be attaching this to the bodice by machine stitch, and then I will be attaching the front of the waistband to the skirt by machine stitch, but the inside I have to do by hand. And while I'm doing that by hand, I will also stitch down the facing of the neckline by hand. And I think that, other than hemming, that will be the last step that I have to do. To finish the edges that are not encased in facings and things, I will be pinking all of my edges because I don't have a good way, really, to finish these edges. I thought about French seams, but I'm just not really good with that yet, and I'm not confident enough to do all French seams in a dress because I'm afraid I will completely screw it up. So I'm still trying to get the basics down before I start doing a lot of that kind of thing. So I'll be doing some hand stitching on this. So I will be back maybe after I'm done with the hand stitching, maybe as I'm working through my waistband. We'll see. But you will at least see it, probably see it before the hemming stage. We'll see. All right, I'll be back. So I completed that dress about 3 weeks ago now, maybe even a month ago. I wore it quite a bit because I really like the shape of it. And I'm really proud of the construction. I've never done a sweetheart neckline. I'm pretty sure that was my first one. I probably said it earlier in this video. But it turned out really good, and I was really surprised because throughout all of the construction I wasn't sure how it would actually turn out. Over time I really got annoyed with the skirt lining that is in there because of the way that I had attached it and the way that I cut the hem. I didn't really care if the hem was even, as long as it covered anything that you could see. However, turns out that fabric really wasn't as thin as I thought it was, so I ended up cutting the skirt lining out, and it changed the final hang of the skirt a little bit, but not much. It made it a little bit more drapey, not quite so stiff. However, as you saw, the second part of my reveal video, just add a petticoat and you get a whole second look to your dress. And I really enjoy wearing petticoats and having big poofy dresses, so that's just a perk for me, I guess. And if you enjoy it, you might as well try it. Circle skirts are really good to add a petticoat under. And if you don't want to make your own, because tulle can be really annoying to actually sew with, ask me how I know. You can buy a petticoat online The one I got years ago through Amazon, and it was only like $5. You can get multiple sizes, multiple colors, multiple lengths, multiple poofiness, like multiple choices. So check it out if you feel like you want to add one. It's not an expensive investment. If you've never wore a petticoat before and you don't know if you like it, you might as well try it for not too much money. Or don't, and go with the regular circle skirt. Anyways, I am quite happy with the dress. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and like this video if you liked what you saw, and subscribe if you would like to see more, and come back for the next video. Thank you.